Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. Today we are here to talk about El Toro Lautaro Martinez, and more specifically his contract. So before we get into it, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So the Lautaro Martinez contract situation, this saga has been running for a very long time, longer than the Brozovic saga that we remember from a couple of years ago, longer than the Skriniar saga. What the hell is happening with this contract situation? It's going on since the beginning of this past season. And the funny thing is that at multiple stages of these negotiations, multiple people involved in this negotiation have said pretty much the same thing. Beppe Marotta came out and said multiple times that there are no issues within the negotiations. Lautaro wants to stay, and he's confident that Lautaro will sign. Although we know Beppe Marotta, with these negotiations recently, has a bit of an iffy record. So I don't know if we should take his word for it. His right-hand men in the transfer team, Bacin and Ausilio, have both said the same thing as well. They both confirmed that negotiations are ongoing, and they are confident that they will be signing Lautaro to a new contract. Our legendary captain and current vice president, Javier Zanetti, his compatriot, has said he wants Lautaro to stay. Lautaro wants to stay. He will sign a new contract. He said that in a very confident manner. And finally, most importantly, Lautaro himself has said on multiple occasions that he wants to stay. He wants to sign a new contract. There's only a few details left, and that he is close to signing. But this has been going on for months and months. So what the hell is happening? Well, the simple answer is two words: Vlahovic, Osimhen. They are the reasons. And let me explain. It's very, very simple. It is, as often in life, it is about money, pesos, rupees, pounds, coins. So what happened is last season, Napoli's amazing title run, historic title run to their third Scudetto. Osimhen, of course, was the spearhead of that Napoli attack. Got himself a brand new bumper contract, which earns himself 10 million net a season, which is the highest in Serie A. Now, if you go to Turin, Dusan Vlahovic, after he signed from Fiorentina to Juventus, his contract is on a rising wages level. And at the moment, according to Capology, he's earning 7 million net. So both of them are earning more than Lautaro Martinez. But who is the best striker in Serie A at the moment? It's not Dusan Vlahovic, and it's not Victor Osimhen. It's Lautaro Martinez. And according to the reports, the rising clause in Vlahovic's contract means that by 2027, he potentially could be earning around 12 million net per season. Obviously, Lautaro knows this. Lautaro's agent know this. So this is where the issue is coming in. You know, the original offers from Inter on the contract renewal were around the 7 to 8 million net mark. But now, according to many, many reports, he's asking for 10, or some people are saying he's asking for more than 10 million net per season. Is he pushing his luck a little bit? I think he is. But today's video, I want to talk with you guys about the pros and the cons of giving into Lautaro's demands, of signing him to a new contract. And then, of course, I'll give my opinion at the end, and I want your opinion at the end. So let's start off with the pros of giving Lautaro the contract that he wants. I mean, first of all, the quality of the player. There's no doubts, guys. This has been Lautaro's best season at Inter. No doubt. Maybe it might not seem like it, especially since February. He's had a bit of a dip in his performances and goal contributions. Some bit of recency. People might think he hasn't had that much of a good season, but there's no doubt it's been his best season at Inter. In terms of goal contributions, he's sitting on 27 goals and 7 assists, so a total of 34 goal contributions in 43 appearances. That's averaging a goal or an assist every 99 minutes. And you have to keep in mind that this season he's not been subbed off as much as he used to be. You know, remember in previous seasons, Conte and Inzaghi around the 70th minute used to sub off Lautaro quite often, which used to, you know, inflate his goals and assists per minute. But this season he's been pretty much playing a lot of full 90 minutes. So a goal or assist every 99 minutes is actually very, very impressive. And there's not many other players in Europe that are averaging these types of minutes. You know, you got to look to the monsters out there of Kylian Mbappe, Haaland, those types of guys to get to the level where Lautaro is at. Harry Kane is the one that's overperforming him, but we're talking about the elite guys at the moment in world football, and Lautaro is right up there with them. The next reason why Inter should give him the new contract is leadership. Boy has become a man. He's 26 years old, but he has become the leader at Inter. Of course, symbolically as well, he has the armband. He has become Il Capitano Lautaro Martinez. He has taken on the weight of the armband since Samir Handanovic left last season, and honestly speaking, he's been stellar in that role. Inzaghi, his teammates, the directors, they've all spoken in glowing terms in how Lautaro has approached the role of a captain, not only on the pitch, but off the pitch as well, with his behavior, discipline, professionalism. You can tell he was also an important part of Marcus Thuram integrating so fast to Inter and Serie A. Created a great partnership with Lautaro, and we've seen Lautaro over the years. He always creates good partnerships with his strike partners, whether that was Lukaku or Dzeko, so-and-so, but he's always, the one commonality in Inter over the last few years of good partnerships has been Lautaro. And he is, in terms of leadership, he is the leader at Inter right now, but he's also part of that leadership team of what some people consider to be that Inter core of players that we want to keep, or the untouchables of Inter. You start off from the back, you got the Bastoni, young Interista, world-class, Barella, getting into his peak years, Interista, world-class, and then you have Lautaro. He's definitely in that world-class bracket of strikers, attachment to the jersey, and at a good age. Keeping this core is vital. Some people might add Di Marco to that core because he's also strong Interista and maybe in conversations for the best in his position. But that definitely is the 3 or 4 players. Lautaro is part of that. The next reason is consistency and stepping up. This has been, a bit of a subject of criticism of Lautaro over his career at Inter, really. Over the years, he's always gone through those periods of drought where he goes weeks without scoring or even assisting. But this season, from August, since the start of the season, up until February when he had his dip, there was only a stretch of 2 games in a row in the league where he didn't score or assist. 2 games, guys. That is monstrous. He put the team on his back. And even when he wasn't scoring, we still saw good, mature performances from Lautaro. In general, outside of the Champions League, Lautaro has always been a bit of a big game player for Inter over the years. And this season was no different. Crucial, game-affecting, game state-affecting goals from Lautaro. First, the equalizer away at Real Sociedad in the Champions League in the group stage. Usually always scores against Milan, but this year he didn't score. But in the first derby where we won 5-1, he had 2 key assists. Then he had that amazing match winner at Atalanta, which was very, very underrated. Beautiful curler from the edge of the box. He always struggled against Juve, but this year he scored a massive, crucial, equalizing goal away at the Allianz Arena as well. And then he also had the winning goal in the Supercoppa Italiana. Big goals. And in terms of consistency, he always continues to have really solid physical attributes. He hardly ever gets injured. He's very, very reliable in terms of that. Even when he is injured, he usually plays through that pain. Another reason to sign on Lautaro to a new contract is that we're talking about potentially a future Inter legend. I mean, some people might put him in that bracket already. I don't, but I think he is on his way to become a future Inter legend. He has 2 Scudetti under his belt now, and the latest one, he was the main man in. In the all-time goal-scoring charts, he's number 7 with 129 goals, having recently overtaken Mauro Icardi. He's well on his way to reach legends like Altobelli on the 200-plus goals mark, especially if he stays for a few more years at his peak years. He's also a massive fan favorite. I know this is probably not something that the club may take into account, but he is the most popular player at Inter. His shirt at the official store is the one that sells the most. His iconic celebration is the one that little kids all around Italy are replicating. His style of play, his grinta, his technique have all made him one of the fan favorites of Inter. So that was the positives or the reasons why Lautaro should get his new contract. Now let's talk about some of the negatives, or why Inter shouldn't give into Lautaro's high demands. First of all is potential to upset the wage structure at Inter. That's the first thing that comes to mind to me. And yes, I know I shouldn't be thinking like the Inter accountant is not coming out of my bank account, blah, 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 all this. But this is a factor to take into account, guys, and it is a real possibility. Currently, Lautaro is tied with Hakan Çalhanoğlu as the highest paid players at Inter. Both, according to Capology, are on 6 million net. And apparently, Hakan's bonus takes him slightly higher than Lautaro, but we don't know, the real details of this kind of stuff. But in terms of gross wages, what actually comes out of Inter's bank account is 11 million gross a year for both of them each. So let's say Lautaro gets his 10 million raise. That's a 54% raise that he's getting. So that's raising the ceiling, the wage ceiling of the squad. And when it comes to the renewal of important players in the future, let's say Hakan continues to have this amazing, these amazing performances, or Bastoni when he comes to his peak years, or Pavard, or someone else that we may sign in the future, negotiating his contract when he's first signing for Inter, they see that the level, the ceiling at Inter is 10 million. That pushes all the future demands up. It's just human psychology. It's just nature, guys. There's nothing we can do. Yes, we know this team is great, mentality and togetherness, all great guys. But when there's one player out earning everyone else by such a large margin, I'm sure there will be conversations had with agents behind the scenes about if he's getting that much, I want, at least close to that much. You have to take into consideration Barella, who's also in the process of renewing his contract. They're talking about a 6.57 million net wage for Barella. Is Lautaro that much of a better player than Barella? Not in my opinion. The next negative is related to this: affordability. Can Inter actually afford this massive wage? 10 million net salary, because Lautaro does not benefit from the growth decree benefits of the tax breaks, would mean 18 million gross wages for Inter to pay out every single year. On top of the fact that he wasn't a free agent when we signed him. We signed him for 25 million. His amortization is quite low now on the book, so that would be probably just like $1.5 million or 2 million if I'm correct. So, but on the books, Lautaro as a player would cost over 20 million euros per year. Yes, Inter are finally in a much better financial position compared to previous years. This financial year, they may even reach a break even, which has not been seen for a while. But a mammoth renewal like this, with still an uncertain, ownership situation, and that situation which we need to see what's happening in the next few days with that Oak Tree loan, it's a big risk. And earlier we spoke about Osimhen's salary, the 10 million net, but the thing is, Osimhen does benefit from the growth decree. So that means the 10 million net salary to Osimhen to Napoli only costs around 12.5 million or close to 13 million. If he didn't benefit from this, there's no way Aurelio De Laurentiis would have paid that much money to Osimhen. And we all kind of know that renewal to Osimhen is almost like a sweetener to keep him for one more year, have more leverage when the Premier League clubs come for Osimhen, because it's quite likely that he will be sold this season. So a different type of renewal to Lautaro, which I think, when signing on Lautaro, we're looking to keep him for the long term. And the next con is not really a con, but more of a reason to not renew him and sell him, because this is potentially his peak transfer value. According to Transfermarkt, at the moment, his value is 110 million euros, which is pretty much exactly around about what I would value him. I think that's quite realistic. He's 26 years old, about to be 27. He is entering his prime physical years. Footballing years, some people might argue, strikers peak a little bit later as well. But there's an argument to be had. He's had his best season at Inter till date. Will he ever have a better season than this? Is there more potential to Lautaro than this? I think there's an argument to be had that this is probably his ceiling in terms of that consistency. Yes, he's improved on it, but we still saw after February that dip. Is he ever going to be improving on that? Does he have the ice cool bomber in him? I don't know. So in terms of his peak physical performance, peak footballing performance, probably got the best out of him. And if you can get 100 million plus, that's the time to do it, is right now. And over the last few years, Inter probably being the best example that selling your best players isn't exactly the end of the world. We've seen it with selling Lukaku, selling Hakimi, selling Brozovic, letting Skriniar go for free, letting Onana go. They were all sold or released, but then somehow the player replacing them did just as a good job as them, or even better in some cases. With Marotta and Ausilio at the helm, we know we're in safe hands, and that the potential replacement for Lautaro would probably be handpicked quite well. But now, after saying all of that, guys, it's time for the verdict, or my verdict. We talked about the pros and the cons, but to me, the Lautaro conversation has always been the same. Yes, let's sell him. Yes, let's make a lot of money, but who will replace him? Who is out there in this world football market of strikers? Strikers Strikers are real strikers, real number nines are becoming so rare in the world of football. Yes, I know I just talked about how I trust in Morata and it was easier to find a replacement for him. But over the years, I always used to ask this question, even when Lautaro wasn't reaching these levels. It's like, okay, I'm happy to sell him if someone comes with that crazy money, but who are you bringing me in? And people in the past, told me names like Luka Jovic, Timo Werner. I mean, I don't even need to talk to you guys about what those guys are doing these days. Many names have been mentioned in the past to say that they could have done Lautaro's job. And I think to a certain extent, any quality player in this Inzaghi team, in this Inter system will come in. The amount of goals, the amount of XG this team creates, whoever comes in has the ability to score a lot of goals and maybe as many as Lautaro. But there's a lot of other factors that come with Lautaro. We talked about, those intangibles, the leadership, the attachment to the shirt. This is a guy that has cried for Inter many times. He cried 2 seasons ago when we lost the Scudetto to Milan on the last day. And just a few weeks ago when we won the Scudetto, he cried once again because this means so much to him. This means more to him. He might have not grown up as an Interista like Bastoni and Barella did, but he definitely is a true Interista now. If Vlahovic and Osimhen are earning 10 million net, the best striker in the league has to be earning 10 million net. There's no arguments about that to me. So, contract negotiations, I would give Lautaro what he wants, but I would give it to him, 8 million plus bonuses, 9 million plus bonuses, some bonuses that are maybe easy to reach, goal related or Champions League related, something, easy to reach that gets him to that 10 million that he wants. But if it's true that he's asking for 10 million and then this is a bit of a sticking point, and that takes away from what I've just said about him being a true Interista. We've seen players in the past, his compatriots, there's similar examples of, Cambiasso, Zanetti, when it came to renewals, they used to not even really talk about salaries. We've seen how easy negotiations in the past, and it seems like they're going now with Barella, Di Marco. If he's asking for more than 10 million, he of all people should know about the financial issues, not just at Inter, but in Serie A. No one pays that amount of money in this league anymore. The money that you're after, Lautaro, my brother, hermano, welcome to England, my brother. Welcome to cloudy, rainy England. And I hope you enjoy those fish and chips. And you're going to miss those asados, my boy. But if it's legacy, love, and potentially legendary status at a club like Inter, then stop with the crazy demands and sign the contract, Lautaro. Hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Please, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. What are you making of this all? I put a poll out on my Twitter a few days ago, and the opinion was split, but most people of course want Lautaro to stay, but some people are also wanting to sell him. Where are you standing with this whole situation? Do you think he will renew? And if you don't want him to renew, or if you want to sell him, who would you replace him with? Let me know in the comments down below. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Ciao ragazzi, always above any player, Forza Inter.